Welcome to the Money Pig Podcast, presented by Goodwin Investment Advisory, where our mission is to lead you to financial pig, peace, independence, and generosity. I'm your host, Tim Goodwin. And welcome back to the Money Pig Podcast. Super excited, our special guest, Beckforth, Joe Beckford.
Here
excited to have you back today in the studio.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, more excited than usual because a lot of times we give you these tough topics, but we've got an exciting one today.
I know usually it's like, depressing stuff.
Yeah, what
the D's. I get the D's.
Dealing with I
get the D's.
The death or divorce.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The D's. Yeah.
Yep.
The D's.
So we're excited.
So today my grade is better than D.
Absolutely. Yeah. I thought maybe there was a mistake that they had assigned this topic to you. I was like, this is too fun. This is too exciting for Joe. Oh, finally they heard. Hey, you're a fun guy. Not in the mushroom sense,
like a mushroom.
You're a fun guy. So
keep me in the dark.
Yeah, I'm excited that you're here. So we're going to be talking about why clients keep us. Before we do, though, I would love for you to share something that maybe the guests don't know about you.
You ask me this all the time. I keep giving all my secrets away. Okay, so one thing.
He likes to be mysterious.
Oddly enough, I have never been on a cruise before.
Right.
And I'm looking to probably do that for the first time this summer.
Wow. So, I feel like people either love or hate cruising.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So
it's like running. People either love it or hate it.
I do hate that.
Hopefully you like cruising much better.
Hopefully I hear the drinks are better.
Yeah.
So hopefully that will work.
Hey, so like with it being summertime, like pools are opening, like people are really excited about getting into pools. I had a guy knock on my door the other day, ask for a donation for the local swimming pool. I just handed him a glass of water. We got to get the crickets going on that one.
We need crickets. We need the cricket sound effects.
I'm glad that I find them funny.
That's fine.
So
was it chlorinated water?
Well, I guess not at my house.
Just tap water.
Yeah, mine's coming from the well. So yeah. Fluoride free. All right, let's move on here. So again, why clients keep us, and I usually like to start with why.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. So there's really this difference between an attraction factor and an attachment factor. Okay.
Ooh, talk more about that.
Yeah, so I will. Thanks. So like the attraction factors are reasons why someone's like initially drawn to something. Could be initially drawn to a person, a product, or a service. But in our line of work, financial advising, generally it's something about like how clear we communicate with people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they've heard about that. Maybe their experience reaching out to us as a potential client that we've clearly communicated. Checking out our credentials, our experience, the CFP, a lot of Google reviews, et cetera, a compelling story, a great first impression, right? The website, the intro calls, coming into the office, having a first meeting. Those are like attraction factors.
Mm-hmm.
But why people keep us is more about an attachment factor, right? And those are the reasons why somebody stays. And those reasons generally relate to a deeper emotional field, certainly the functional benefits that develop over time. And in our case, for clients, that would be like the trust that we build over time. Shared wins is pretty cool. Hey, we did that strategy and it worked. Like you saved taxes, or now that you're doing this, you're not as stressed about it as you were before. This one's really cool because this happened pretty recently. Weathering a market downturn together isn't a factor, is like an attachment factor. They were with me when I got really worried about my portfolio, my ability to retire. And then feeling that you're part of their family story. And I think that goes both ways, right? Like we certainly get to hear about their family and what's going on in those decisions. But over time, when you spend hours together, they start to learn about you and Mary Ellen and your kids and your grandkids, and you're going on your first cruise. Sometimes that, a lot of times, I think some of that gets shared. So anyway, I think that's super cool. So we've realized this as a marketing team a while ago, that we spent a lot of our time talking about folks of the attraction factors. Here's why you could hire us or should consider hiring us. But we thought we'd make a shift and start trying to say, well, why do we have great retention? We have great loyalty. We have clients that have been with us since I started the firm, or since they've hired us for decades now. Why are they staying with us? So we had an annual celebration event recently. Yeah, it was a little warm that day.
Tent was warm,
but we had some awesome jazz music and incredible charcuterie.
We did.
And during that event, we encouraged the clients that were there. There were some guests as well, but they wouldn't mind sharing basically why they keep us, right? So we got a lot of really great feedback. So the question here was, you chose to hire our firm based on first impressions, shared values, trust, et cetera, just like we were talking about attraction factors. But now that you're past the newly dating phase, what keeps you at Goodwin Investment Advisory? So we thought we might just share some of those today. You want to get us started there?
Yeah, we're just going to read a few and see how we go from there. So one client says, we are seeing results as our investments are growing. The Fidelity platform, Fidelity's our custodian. For those of you who aren't clients yet, we're seeing results as our investments are growing. The Fidelity platform is very easy to use. We also really enjoy working with Justin.
I mean, who doesn't, right?
Right?
Yeah.
The guy's
Fidelity platform's great. I feel like right now, as one of the part of the compliance team here at Goodwin Investment Advisory, that I need to kind of add this disclosure that we did not pay our clients to write these down. We did do a raffle, which was fun, little giveaway basket, if they, chose to give us some feedback, but folks were not compensated. And I think if we go through all these are all technically clients. I don't think that was the idea, right? We didn't have vendors or guests or anybody fill this out because it was more about why you've stayed as a client.
Right.
So, sorry, there'll be a nice, really great disclosure at the end of the episode of every episode that Angela sitting across from me will read. But I just thought I'd get that in there real quick. So again, what keeps you at Goodwin? Quite honestly, is I think, some of this will be some handwriting here. How available the entire staff is for our needs, questions, and advice. Every time we need assistance, Justin, another shout out for Justin, is always there. Goodwin feels like family, and we tend to trust family. So that's pretty cool.
Exactly. We're touching on lots of themes here, right?
Yeah.
So this one's a little bit of a different theme from that. So far, I feel like we've had two themes. We've had the whole family thing, and then we've had an investment performance.
Well, this one too is on, I think, communication too, right? Like, hey, I need something. And so I've reached out and you're available. Maybe Justin is or is not available. But I have access that extends to the team. The team's here to respond to me in a timely manner.
Yeah. So this one talks more about a different theme. Dave Ramsey always said to choose someone with, quote, a heart of a teacher. We've always felt this at Goodwin. Awesome group.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Why is that a big deal? We've definitely, adopted that motto about a heart of a teacher. We'll even recommend that our clients are looking for hearts of teachers for, other professional services that they're hiring.
Yeah. I think it's super important that we meet people where they are at their level of understanding. And you have people who come in and who are very sophisticated investors and people who've never been investors in their lives.
Right.
And you need to adjust. But it is important to me as an advisor for the clients to understand why are you hiring us and what's the value that we provide for you? And you need at least a rudimentary understanding of the investment so that you can tell your friends, what am I doing for you? And be confident in that.
The research backs this up. When people have a bad experience with a financial advisor or in a first meeting, they'll often say they talked over my head.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand what they were saying. And so we've always made that a priority to try to understand, like you were saying, where is their level? Where are they coming from? Some folks are hiring us for the first time. They've never hired a financial advisor before. Mm-hmm. And so, or some folks are like, oh, I've had financial advisors for years. I, just frustrated. I have this pain point. So I'm looking for a better one. So yeah, that heart of a teacher, that humility too.
Right.
I think that teacher would have, that comes with it, right? The humility, like I don't know everything, but we're equals here. I'm not superior, but hopefully, maybe there's a good fit for each other, and we can collaborate and end up in the future with a better, mutually, beneficial relationship. Mm-hmm. So, another what keeps you a good one. Nothing will top this family of advisors in the industry. Oh, nice. Sorry, this is like major cursive. I do feel a family connection with all of these great folks and can't wait to meet the next member. So cool. I think this client hopes we're growing. I think so. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that it feels like family. I think it comes down to something I think you're going to share more about, Joe, but just how we really do care about the individual person and helping them feel known and just not like a number.
Right. 100%.
And I think that person was celebrating the baby on the way.
Oh, yes, that's true. There's a baby on the way. So
New
I wasn't
staff
sure that we
member.
could say that on the podcast. So, oh, Ray's baby. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay, awesome. All kinds of babies on the way. Exciting. How exciting.
So next one that I have says, and the part at the end gets me a little bit, and you'll know why. It says, the people and the trust they have built with us, the ability to keep us grounded during the storms you talked about, and the confidence they give us in reaching our goals. They're just fun people, especially Tim.
Hey, you try to be fun. Did my wife write that?
I don't know. I hope that wasn't your wife that wrote that. Yeah, definitely not.
Try to bring some fun to finance. Yeah, it can get dry real quick.
It's one of the core values around here.
It is one of the core values around here. All right. What keeps you at Goodwin? Solid investment results, ongoing consistent communication, education, and information. For example, market trends, great customer care, and a personal touch. They did like a bullet point list.
They just did a bullet point list.
Yeah,
that.
Pretty great.
I like this one. It says, I have stayed with GIA because of peace of mind and utmost trust. I know at any time they are available and willing to discuss and help me financially. I know I'm in good hands with Goodwin.
But we're not Allstate, right? Is that
Definitely we're not.
In good hands?
Yeah. No insurance connections here whatsoever.
But that's really cool that she feels that way. Like that confidence feels taken care of. We're here for her when she needs it. I think that's super important. We certainly want your money to be there when you need it and to outlive you. But it's also cool to feel like, hey, like I don't know what to do and I need some help to make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Give them the confidence to make those decisions together. All right. So the next one here. Your people are the best in all caps. We have total confidence that Joe, this guy right here, is looking out for us to have peace of mind and wealth to pass on. Look at you helping them with excess wealth more than they need, huh? Let's go.
I don't know. That's part of the goal.
Awesome.
This one says, we enjoy Justin's bright smile every time we talk to him. We love the level of care and interest he takes every time we meet. And, I think that's important because that comes across. I know a lot of Justin's interactions with clients, just like mine, are over the phone. And one thing that we talked about from day one, when advisors come on, that you've said, smile when you answer the phone, because a smile comes across, even though it's not visual,
right?
It comes across. You can tell a person's demeanor if they're smiling or if they're not.
Yeah. Even like your greeting that you left on your phone, like smile when you say your greeting.
You can 100% tell.
You can tell if they're smiling. Yeah.
So it's not by accident.
You reached him. Leave a message after the tone.
Blah. That would sound terrible.
All right. Next one here. We've been with Goodwin for 5 years. Let's see. And appreciate.
Cursive again.
Yeah. Lots of good cursive here. Appreciate that they meet us where we are comfortable. It's cool. We can stay mostly hands off. I like that they said mostly because we really want our clients. We don't want them to be totally hands off. Not be totally hands off. Right. The clients that meet with us, they have better outcomes and better experiences. But our advisor is always readily available to answer questions or provide advice. Not too much, not too little, but just right.
Goldilocks advice.
Goldilocks, yeah. So, and that's cool too. We have some clients that will meet with us on a regular basis, like quarterly. We're totally up for that. Some folks, we're trying to generally get into at least an annual meeting so we can cover a lot of bases. But that's cool that this client isn't that one that's coming in quarterly, but knows that we're available to help. Communication is really important to us. We used to survey this question for our clients for years, which was, are we over communicating or under communicating, or is it just right? So you can certainly over communicate.
For sure.
You get those emails, you get those texts, you have to hit stop and unsubscribe. We're trying to do like the just right amount of communication. It's fine area to balance in. Go ahead.
It's my turn.
Yep.
So this one, what keeps you at Goodwin? Justin.
Is that it? That's all they wrote?
Well, no, then it says LOL. Seriously, this group is top notch and I feel so very well taken care of.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So
that's awesome. Again, you're going to reference the aspect of caring in a little bit. So
saving my last one.
There we go. Yeah. So next one here, we are kind of still in the newly dating phase, which is funny because that's what we mentioned. I'm looking at the name here. I think they had hired us that day or the day before.
Yeah.
So they've been a client for a day.
Very new client.
I feel like that they signed to become a client so they could come to this party the next day. I don't know. The parties are pretty good around here. So
parties are good.
Yeah, that can be an incentive. Let's see. Oh yeah, he did. See if Tara told me across the table here, but if I just kept reading, we're in the newly dating phase, 1 day in. But everyone, and this is pretty amazing that he knows so many of our team's names, being a client for 1 day. But everyone, Ray, Joanna, Kimberly, and Kobe, to name a few. I guess we didn't get named in here, Joe. I've been amazing.
Maybe we're not amazing.
It already feels like family. There's a smiley face in here. Cheers to a lifetime together. Love that. Because what do we call our clients around here?
So when we're in the dating phase,
yep,
and somebody is potentially looking at hiring us as their advisor, do we call them prospects?
No. Oh, God,
that's like an ugly word, right? It's terrible. We call them potential lifetime clients.
There it is.
And we love acronyms around here.
We sure do. So we were talking about that before.
We call those folks PLCs, and we mean that in a loving way. Like, because we do say, like, if this person comes on board, potentially this is a lifetime client through family generations. And that's our hope.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome that he feels that already 1 day in. So excellent.
We need to take his temperature 5 years in. And make sure
let's see how happy you are after the honeymoon.
So my next one says, great team filled with integrity and knowledge. I wouldn't consider anyone else.
Well, that's great.
I like that.
I like that somebody's mentioning the knowledge aspect too. We don't just want to make people feel great here. We certainly want them to know that we have expertise and knowledge and experience that's helping us make better decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just felt great, but you weren't getting the outcomes that you needed to meet your financial goals. Yeah. Well, they're a really nice advisor, but not going to meet my goals.
But they're not making my money.
Yeah.
They're not helping me.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Let's see. What keeps you at Goodwin? Shared values and trust continue to keep me at Goodwin. I know that your advisors have our best interest at heart. Your philanthropy also inspires me.
I think that's the only one that mentioned that.
Yeah.
But we do talk about that in these celebration events a lot, that it is a core value that not only, we encourage our staff, we encourage our clients to be generous, but we give corporately.
Right.
And so there's,
part of our
line item in the budget that we talked about yesterday.
Right.
What does our giving look like for this year, and are we on track, and where's it going?
Yeah, it's part of our revenue, part of our normal P&L, and then as part of our mission, leading people financial pig, peace, independence, generosity. So that's pretty cool, though. Like to think that your financial advisor company is inspiring you to be more generous. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Love that. My next two both touch on a similar theme. GIA cares at the individual level. They know us, our kids, our plans, our passions, our careers, etc. They have our best interest at heart.
Wow. That's cool. We definitely want to get to know the kids, the
For
parents, grandparents, the kids, grandkids.
I mean, people's families, typically one of the main reasons people are here is because I want my family to be taken care of. Family is the most important thing to most people.
Yeah, we want to work with, like you mentioned this earlier, for families for generations. So there's a lifetime for that client, but then there's hopefully even beyond that because we're working with the next generations.
Right.
Yeah. Super cool. Oh, is it my turn? I lost track.
It's your turn.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Let's see. Integrity and trust. Man, the trust word's all over the place. This is pretty cool. Proven time and time again, the company genuinely cares shows up a lot, about those it serves. You are open and honest, even in the tough times. We trust and love Joe. They double underlined it with an exclamation point.
I like that.
Yeah. I was looking for some glitter glue. I feel like they could have.
We didn't have.
We'll offer that next time.
We'll offer glitter glue next time. We only gave pens. Yeah.
Awesome. I don't know if there's more to say about that. We haven't said it. Then I know you're going to talk about the care part later, but that's pretty cool.
Why don't you do your last one and let me wrap up then?
Excellent.
You've got one more.
All right. So what keeps you a good one? The people! Exclamation point. I appreciate the excellent service and ease of use you provide. That's cool.
But the last part's the best part.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I see it now. Joe Beckford rocks! Exclamation point.
There it is.
He works hard on my behalf. Did your daughter fill this out? Is that?
She did not. That was definitely not my daughter. No.
Yeah, you do. You do rock and you do work hard. I think it's really interesting, the ease of use you provide. As far as people talk about trust and, communication, but just like that it's easy to use our services. I like that.
Yeah.
Like there's not hurdles, there's not barriers.
That's one of our key things is how do we remove hurdles and barriers for people? How do we make
the path of least resistance?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
And
for
Ray
folks?
was sharing that in a previous episode about one of the ways we try to make it easier is we incentivize you to do the right thing. Sometimes, like for estate planning and things like that, or we do it, or we have instructions for how do you do it, to make it easy. Yeah.
So my last one says, I am with GIA because of the people. They truly care and are interested in my desires, even if it will reduce my portfolio. People that care. And I think that speaks to, last year we sent out that book to everybody, Die with Zero.
I was like, reduce my portfolio.
So,
it's been a good couple of years here.
We encourage folks to enjoy and use their money in retirement and not just hoard it and pass away and leave a big pile of money for who knows what reason. So I think it goes to the start with why and make sure that people are generous during their lifetime. So we're encouraging people to give money away. We're encouraging people to enjoy their money.
Right.
We're encouraging people to be intentional about
seeing him. I see the name on here. We weren't sharing names. But I was like, how weird was it for you to get a book from your financial advisor with big print on the front that said Die with Zero?
Right.
And he's like, it got my attention, but it was actually a good challenge. So I was like, well, good. That's what we were trying to do.
Yeah. So I think this goes to one of the things you alluded to this earlier. One of the things, this stuff doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah.
Right.
You gotta be intentional.
So people stay here because there's a culture here that we have developed, and it was not by accident just because you coalesced a team of decent people together and we happen to be nice people. It's not that. That's certainly
not just that.
Not just that, right?
Yeah.
It's a cornerstone of it,
right.
But there is a culture of we care more.
Hey, look at that.
I know, look at that, right?
Here, hold that close up for the audience. We care more. You can even zoom in more.
Oh, cheap 3D effects. That's awesome.
Right,
I love those.
I got the same one. Is that from your desk?
It is right off my desk. So I'm going to read it and then I'm going to put it back here by Notorious so you can see it. Yeah, but we have an unfair advantage. We care more. It's easy to promise and difficult to do. But if you did it, it would work. More than any other skill or attitude, this is what keeps me and people like me coming back. And the reason that we have this is a remembrance that this is a client talking to you.
Notorious, BIG?
Sure.
No,
we need to work on his portfolio. But yeah, so this is on everybody's desk to remind us that this is the client, the invisible client that's not on the phone with you at the moment, the one you're working on, the one you're thinking about, that's saying, the reason I'm here is because you care. And, we care more. Do we care more than you care about your money? No. Do we care more than your family cares about you? No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is we care more than you would expect us to care.
Right.
Right. And you saw that resonate in those terms of family. People refer to that as family a lot. And I take that as a high honor when somebody's like, oh yeah, we feel like you're family. And when people ask me, to your point, people ask me about my personal stuff. That's super interesting to me that people don't just walk in and are only concerned about their stuff, which we talk about a lot.
They want to build that relationship, make that connection.
It's relationship and connection. And I think that is ultimately the gel that holds people here is the relationship.
I will say that we're in an industry where the bar is typically set pretty low on terms of the expectation of that client for us to care. You know what I mean? So, you walk into like a church and you hope that they really, really care. Right? Expectation's pretty high. They gotta knock it out of the park to show you. But, fortunately for us, but unfortunately as an industry, like walking into a used car lot, the used car salesman, you're like, I don't know how much they're going to care about me. They care about selling a car. And obviously lawyers and politicians don't have great, reputations for trust and for care. So the bar is pretty low for us, but we don't want to just jump over that bar. We want to just, super exceed it. And so we're very intentional about trying to show that we care more. We don't know if we care more than all of our competitors or the guy or gal across the street, but we just want to show our clients that we care more than they were expecting. Is there anything that you can share about how we execute that intentionally? We certainly talk about it and we have it on our desks. Angela, thank you. Sitting across the table made that for a lot of us. Are there other ways that we're intentional about showing clients that we care more?
Well, to give Angela a shout out, I mean, we have a whole staff person here.
Not a half a staff person.
Not a half a staff person, a whole staff person who is not an advisor.
Right.
Who is part of our marketing team. But one of her primary goals is to deliver, an acronym or a word, but we call it WOW. Right. And what is that? I had this discussion with a potential client this week too. And I said something about WOWs. And she said, what's that? And I said, we're supposed to make you say, wow. How do we give you the unexpected? Sometimes a wow is something bad happened in your life. Unfortunately, I've had clients lose loved ones.
Right.
And we try to love on that family and make them feel seen and heard and know that we're grieving with them and know that we pray with them as well. And I don't think most advisors probably inherently do that. You know? And so we dedicate time and resource to do that. And Angela does a great job coming up, I know, to the advisors and reminds us, go through your whole list, go through your head and think, tell me who needs to be loved on.
Yeah.
And I think that's just part of the culture around here. That's awesome to me.
Yeah. I'm glad that you touched on the grieving aspect too. There's a lot between divorce and death. And sometimes people just get really sick or they had a big surgery or they had a scare. And so I think I've shared it before if you've listened to all the podcasts up to this point, but if this is the first one, we call it a BOS, back to acronyms, a box of sunshine.
Yep.
That Angela has curated, which is great. We also celebrate with clients.
Yeah. It's not all bad, right?
Yeah.
We celebrate the good stuff too. Like, oh, you retired.
Yeah.
You became a millionaire.
Yeah.
You paid off your house. We want to be there with those amazing things too.
Justin, last week he was meeting with clients and he realized that their wedding anniversary was coming up really soon.
That's right.
They had also hit a really substantial personal goal, financial goal. And so he had brought a little bottle of champagne into the meeting ahead of time to celebrate them. They thought that was super duper cool. So even just to kind of know some of these things are coming, one of the ways that we're intentional about it is we send out a card on your birthday. So we can put all that in a system. But to get a birthday card every year from your financial advisor, it doesn't just say happy birthday, thanks for another year, but also says, hey, we want to invest in your growth. And so we'd love to get you a book. And we have a recommended list of books. They can get it in different media format. But I know we have a lot of clients. I forget what the total number is, but it's something like 250 to 300 books a year that we are sewing back into mostly our clients, even potential clients sometimes that we're talking to on the phone. So yeah. It's a big part of it.
Personal growth is a big deal around here.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, is there anything else? I know we're getting a good bit over time, but was there anything else as far as why clients stay with us that you wanted to share?
I don't think so. I think it just
came out as we were reading those testimonials. Kind of,
I have had potential clients talk to me before. Again, that's the attraction piece and not so much the stay piece, but say like so. So what is it that would make me, make you different from other firms? And I do the we care more and I talk about those things. And I say, that's easy for me to say, but you have to be here a while.
Yeah.
That's you'd have to feel that sort of thing. And I think we just deliver on what we say.
Yeah. You'll see, like if you're listening, you go on our website, you're not going to see our marketing. You should hire us because we care more.
No,
this is something we want a client to feel once they're here. Right. And to help us on loyalty and retention, and the attachment, because there's a meaningful relationship that we're real intentional about building. But we just thought this would be a unique angle to take on, a podcast that you can download for free to get to know about us. Of just like, we realize that why clients keep us is a little bit different than maybe why they chose us in the first place. So yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I wanted to thank Tara and Angela across the table for us for creating the content, for coming up with this great idea. Angela actually planned the event, and then they came up with the idea to ask clients to leave this feedback, so we're able to share it here on the podcast with any listener. So very, very grateful for that. Certainly, if you're interested in learning more about the company, check out goodwininvestment.com. Highly recommend you subscribe to our blog. It is really, really good. We've been sending at least 2 original blogs a month for many years. A lot of great stuff there in the knowledge base. If you enjoyed this, we just got a new review recently, but we'd love a new podcast review. We certainly keep up with those on a weekly basis on Spotify and on Apple. So we would be grateful if you left us a review there. And as we're signing off, Joe, I always love kind of sharing what we're grateful for. So I'll share something that I'm grateful for while you're thinking about that. And I know this sounds corny, and I've kept a list of like all of what I've mentioned in the past, I'm grateful for. And I've never mentioned this, but I am actually really grateful for podcasting because I am not just a producer. I'm a consumer of podcasting. I love listening to podcasts. Well, I joke a lot about how fast I listen to them, as far as speeding them up. But I just love that I live in a day and age that I can kind of curate my own news. I can pick what podcasts I listen to. I try my best to I actually listen to this one that used to be called Unbiased, but trying to find unbiased news, information that I like, which is probably more like on the investing side and on the global stage, the Audible, being able to listen to books like that, getting some financial stuff with Dave and et cetera. So, I'm just super grateful that podcasting is a thing. I've got a little bit of a drive. I like to run. So I just really get to consume podcasting. I'm grateful for that. Yeah. About you?
One thing, I'm grateful I don't have to run. So that's
throwing that in there.
That's a buy though, right? So you said sounding corny, and we're talking on a podcast, so I'll sound corny too, but it's like legit and from the heart. Like getting to work with a talented, caring group of humans is amazing. I mean, I've worked in the past and haven't had that, and if you haven't worked other places where the environment wasn't as great, then you don't know what that's like. But here, everybody, I feel like is operating pretty much in their unique ability. And we encourage that among people. And there's a lot of self-respect and there are a lot of divergent opinions, and everybody's opinion is welcome and valued and listened to. And it just creates an environment that, makes you want to come to work, and it fosters, I want to do my best for my clients because I also want to do my best for the staff that I work with because they do it for me.
Wow.
So I'm pretty grateful for that.
Try not to get you choked up here, but a lot of that has to do with you, Joe. You've been here a long time.
Well, I've grown a lot. I've grown a lot while I've been here.
Haven't we both? Haven't we both? Well, thanks for saying that. That's awesome. I'll give you that $20 bill later for putting in that plug.
It's 25.
Oh gosh, inflation. Gosh, gee. All right. Well, thank you if you made it this far. We're grateful for our listeners, and we hope you have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Money Pig Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. To stay updated on new episodes, be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you found value in today's discussion, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave a rating and review. If you have any questions about the topics we covered, feel free to visit us at goodwininvestment.com and reach out. This episode is produced by evance.net. This podcast is provided for informational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice, a solicitation to buy or sell any financial products, securities, digital assets, or other investment vehicles, nor as a basis for making any financial decisions. Goodwin Investment Advisory is a registered investment advisor with the SEC, CRD number 131193. Please note that the host and or guests may personally own securities, digital assets, or other investments mentioned in this podcast. Investments carry risk and are not guaranteed unless stated otherwise. We strongly recommend consulting with a qualified financial advisor, tax professional, insurance professional, and/or legal professional before implementing any strategies discussed in this episode. Lastly, past performance is not indicative of future results.